March 17, 2003. 9 p.m., Washington, D.C. President George W. Bush delivers a televised address to the nation. Saddam Hussein and his sons must leave Iraq within 48 hours. Their refusal to do so will result in military conflict, commenced at a time of our choosing. That speech ends at approximately 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In Baghdad, it is 4:15 a.m. on March 18th. 1 hour after Bush finishes speaking, witnesses see 3 or 4 large trucks pull up to the front of the main branch of the Central Bank of Iraq. 2 men climb out and disappear through the front doors. One of them is Saddam Hussein's personal assistant, Abid al-Hamid Mahmoud. The other is Qusay Hussein, Saddam's second son, head of the Republican Guard. Heir apparent to the Ba'athist regime, and the man carrying a handwritten note marked "Top Secret" in Arabic. The note orders the Central Bank of Iraq to release $920 million in cash, a full quarter of the country's entire hard currency reserves, to the men presenting it. The bank manager reads it. No financial rationale is offered. No board approval is sought. No legal counsel is called. Saddam Hussein is an absolute dictator with personal control over every institution in the country, including its central bank. The bank manager calls the staff. He opens the vaults. The loading operation takes 5 hours. The cash $900 million in $100 bills and $100 million in euros, stacked in metal boxes sealed with security stamps, is transferred onto 3 tractor trailers as Baghdad sleeps around it. By the time the sun rises over the Tigris River on March 18th, the trucks are gone. 18 hours later, the first American bombs fall on Baghdad. This is the largest bank robbery in history. The man who ordered it is the same man who gave the world the Iraq War, and most of the money has never been found. Before we go further, if you're enjoying this story and want more like it, hit the like button and subscribe. Every video we make goes this deep, and there's a lot more coming. Al-Auja, a village near Tikrit, northern Iraq, April 28, 1937. Saddam Hussein is born in a mud brick house in a village so small it does not appear on most maps. His father, a shepherd named Hussein Abd al-Majid, disappears before he is born. Whether he died, abandoned the family, or was killed is disputed and was never confirmed. His older brother dies of cancer while his mother is still pregnant with him. By the time Saddam arrives in the world, his mother Subha is so consumed by grief and depression that she attempts both an abortion and suicide. She survives both. According to the CIA's own psychological profile of the man who will later become their enemy, she tells people she wants nothing to do with the infant. He is sent to live with his uncle in Baghdad. At 3 years old, he is returned to his mother. She has remarried a man named Ibrahim al-Hassan, a man who, according to that CIA profile, beats Saddam regularly, sometimes to wake him up. For years, Ibrahim does not allow Saddam to attend school. He forces the child to tend sheep. He forces him to steal chickens from neighboring farms to sell at the local market. He treats the boy as a servant. Saddam endures this for 7 years. At 10 years old, he walks out of Al-Auja and makes his way to Baghdad to live with his uncle Khairallah Talfa, the man who becomes, in every meaningful sense, his father. Talfa is a devout Sunni Muslim, a former army officer, a fervent Arab nationalist. He raises Saddam on a diet of anti-colonial rage, pan-Arab ideology, and one specific lesson that the boy from the mud brick house does not need to be taught twice. Power is the only protection that counts. He joins the Ba'ath Party at 20. He participates in an assassination attempt on the Iraqi Prime Minister at 22. He is exiled to Egypt, imprisoned, and returns to power. He is violent, calculating, patient, and completely without sentimentality about what power requires. By 1979, he is president of Iraq, and he spends the next 24 years building the kind of state that a boy beaten awake by his stepfather and forced to steal chickens would build. Between 1968 and 1979, while serving as vice president under Ahmed Hassan al-Bakr, Saddam Hussein builds the Iraqi state systematically from the inside out. He nationalizes the Iraq Petroleum Company in 1972, converting oil revenues into direct state control. He launches a nationwide literacy campaign, non-attendance punishable by 3 years in prison. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqis learn to read. He funds roads, hospitals, and schools. UNESCO gives him an award, Iraq builds one of the best public health systems in the Middle East. He does all of this while simultaneously building the apparatus that will make every institution in the country answerable to one man. The Department of General Intelligence, the Mukhabarat, feared for its use of torture and assassination. The Popular Army, a counterweight to the regular military to prevent any coup attempt. The Republican Guard, an elite force personally loyal not to Iraq but to Saddam. When al-Bakr resigns in 1979 and Saddam takes the presidency, he convenes a meeting of senior Ba'ath Party officials. He reads from a list. Each name called stands and is escorted from the room. 68 members are arrested. 22 are subsequently executed. He films it and distributes the footage to party members. When a health minister suggests in a cabinet meeting that Saddam temporarily step down to facilitate peace negotiations during the Iran-Iraq War, the minister's dismembered body is delivered to his wife the following day. This is the institutional culture in which the Central Bank of Iraq operates in March 2003. The bank is not independent. It is not a national institution in any meaningful sense. It is an extension of the presidential palace. Its reserves are Saddam's reserves. Its governor serves at Saddam's pleasure. Its vaults contain money that belongs, in every practical application of that word, to one man. When that man sends his son with a note at 4 a.m. asking for $920 million, this is not a robbery. This is a withdrawal. Qusay Hussein is the quieter of Saddam's two sons. His brother Uday is publicly violent, erratic, openly feared. Qusay is methodical. He runs the Republican Guard and the Special Security Organization. He is the son who appears in documents rather than headlines. He is the heir apparent. He is 36 years old. He arrives at the Central Bank of Iraq at 4 a.m. on March 18, 2003, accompanied by Abid al-Hamid Mahmoud and a group of workers and truck drivers. He presents the bank manager with the handwritten note from Saddam. The note is marked top secret. It authorizes the release of $920 million. The bank officials who later speak to investigators describe the operation with the precise bureaucratic calm of people documenting something they could not have refused. The cash is in metal boxes, $100 bills wrapped in standard banking security seals, the same packaging used for international transfers. The boxes are counted, logged, and loaded onto the 3 tractor trailers backed up to the loading bay. The operation takes 5 hours. Qusay and Mahmoud supervise directly throughout. Nobody refuses. Nobody protests. Nobody records an objection. By 9 a.m. on March 18th, the trucks leave Baghdad. Intelligence later suggests a convoy of tractor trailers crossed into Syria around this time. What happens to the money between Baghdad and wherever it is now is the part of this story that has never been closed. U.S. Treasury officials arrive in Baghdad weeks after the fall of the city and learn of the withdrawal from Iraqi counterparts. The State Department confirms publicly on May 7, 2003, that approximately $1 billion was taken from the central bank by Saddam Hussein and his family just prior to the start of combat operations. The assets, says spokesman Richard Boucher, are the property of the Iraqi people and should be returned to them. But at this point, we don't know where this specific cash ended up. Nobody does. April 2003, Baghdad. Troops from the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Division raid one of Saddam's palaces outside Baghdad. Inside the walls, literally inside the walls behind plaster and brickwork, they find $661 million in U.S. currency and 90 million euros in cash. The question investigators cannot resolve: is this the central bank money or Saddam's separate personal accumulation held by Uday? Some believe it is palace money never connected to the central bank convoy. Others believe it is part of the same haul. The question of which money is which has never been definitively answered. What is not disputed: $350 million of the $920 million authorized withdrawal is never accounted for. It has not been found. It has not been returned. More than 20 years after those trucks left Baghdad, nobody knows where it is. In July 2003, Qusay Hussein and his brother Uday are hiding in a villa in the northern city of Mosul, guests of a man named Nawaf al-Zaidan. They have been playing video games for weeks. On July 22nd, al-Zaidan contacts American forces. He wants the $30 million reward on offer for information leading to the capture of Saddam's sons. U.S. Army soldiers and special forces surround the building. Qusay and Uday refuse to surrender. American troops fire 12 Tau anti-tank missiles into the villa. The battle lasts 4 hours. When soldiers finally enter and search the premises for the missing $350 million, they find nothing. Qusay Hussein is 37 years old. His son Mustafa, 14 years old, dies in the same building. In January 2012, 9 years after the fall of Baghdad, the Pentagon's own Special Inspector General's office admits that $100 million of the $661 million found in the palace walls has disappeared. The reason given? A records management error. The country that went to war partly to restore the rule of law to Iraq has lost $100 million of the stolen Iraqi money it recovered through a paperwork mistake. December 13, 2003. A farm near the village of Ad-Dar, 9 miles from Tikrit, 9 miles from Al-Auja, 9 miles from the mud brick house where he was born. American soldiers dig up a small hole in the ground, a spider hole, a space barely large enough for a man, covered with a polystyrene cap and dirt. Inside, Saddam Hussein, disheveled, with a long gray beard, a pistol, $750,000 in cash. The man who ordered the theft of $1 billion from his own country's central bank is found hiding in a hole in a field 9 miles from where he was born. He is tried before the Iraqi High Tribunal for crimes against humanity, specifically the 1982 killing of 148 Shia residents of the town of Al-Dujail in retaliation for an assassination attempt. He is convicted. He is hanged at Camp Justice in Baghdad on December 30th, 2006. He requests to be shot as a soldier. The request is denied. He is buried in Al-Auja on December 31st, 2006, 3 kilometers from his sons Qusay and Uday. His tomb is reported destroyed in 2015. A Sunni tribal group removes his body to a secret location before the destruction. The Central Bank of Iraq robbery required no weapons, no planning beyond a handwritten note, no inside man, no disguises, no coded messages, no getaway driver. It requires only a man whom nobody in the building has the ability to refuse. The money built nothing. It bought nothing. It did not fund an escape or sustain a resistance or purchase a single day of additional freedom. The $750,000 found in the spider hole is the last of it. And even that was not enough to bribe the man who gave him up. Saddam Hussein spent his life building a state designed to make him impossible to lose. He lost it in 3 weeks. He was found 9 months later in a hole in a field, looking like the desperate, hungry child his stepfather tried to make him 50 years before. The stepfather who beat him awake, the country he bled dry, the hole he ended in. 3 things. Same distance from the beginning. On April 10, 2003, the day after American forces took Baghdad, the National Museum of Iraq was looted by thieves who walked through its unguarded doors and removed approximately 15,000 artifacts spanning 7,000 years of human civilization. Cuneiform tablets, Sumerian gold, the Warka vase, one of the oldest narrative artworks on Earth. While American soldiers stood guard at the Ministry of Oil and the Ministry of Interior, the museum that held the physical evidence of the world's first cities was left completely unprotected for 3 days. Some objects were stolen to order, removed with professional precision by people who knew exactly what they were looking for and where it was kept. Others were smashed by looters who could not read what they were destroying. To date, fewer than half of the missing objects have been recovered. That story is next.